He loved her across the stars, though she was never human. The first time Elias saw her, he thought the stars themselves had descended into the laboratory. She hovered in the center of the room, light rippling across her form like liquid silver. Her shape was humanoid, but not quite human. There were no eyes as humans knew them. Only orbs of deep luminescence, shifting colors with every subtle movement. Elias froze, unsure whether to greet her, study her, or run. He had read about extraterrestrial life, observed theories, and even touched meteor fragments, but nothing could prepare him for this. Who are you?" he finally asked, his voice trembling. The being's voice was neither loud nor soft. It seemed to resonate inside his mind rather than his ears. "I am called Lyra. I come from the edge of your understanding." Elias swallowed hard. His heart pounded in a rhythm that was almost cosmic, as though responding to her presence. I'm Elias. I study the stars. You're real." Lyra tilted her head, and for a moment, the room felt suspended in time. "Real? What does that mean, human?" He laughed nervously. You breathe. You exist in the world, I know. That makes you real." Lyra's glow pulsed softly. "Then I am real. And I am here because I know you, Elias. Not in this time, not in this place, but across the span of the stars." Elias felt a chill. How could a being so alien know him? He tried to speak, but words failed. Instead, he stepped closer, compelled by a force he could neither explain nor resist. Lyra extended what could only be called a hand, not touching him, yet he felt warmth, a strange connection, like electricity mixed with sunlight. "Do not fear. I am not here to harm you. I am here to be with you, across distances your mind cannot yet comprehend." He reached out, trembling. Their fingers, or what passed for fingers, almost met, separated by mere centimeters. He could feel the pull of her presence, the depth of something profound. I've dreamed of this, but I never thought you'd be real." Lyra's light dimmed to a soft glow, almost shy. "Dreams are how I reach you. Across your stars, I have watched you, Elias. Across lifetimes. Across worlds." He laughed, a sound mingled with disbelief and awe. "Watched me? Across worlds?" "Yes," she whispered. Her voice was like the soft ringing of distant stars. "You are not meant to understand yet, but soon you will." For hours they stood there, speaking in a language that was partly words, partly thought, partly feeling. And though Elias knew it was impossible, he felt as if he had known Lyra forever. By the time dawn threatened to breach the laboratory windows, he realized something impossible. He was in love. Not with a person, not with a creature from Earth, but with Lyra, the being who had never been human, yet made him feel more human than ever before. Days passed, but time felt meaningless to Elias. Lyra lingered in the lab, sometimes in human form, sometimes a shimmer of light, sometimes a presence he could only sense in his mind. Every moment with her was both thrilling and terrifying. Thrilling because of the wonder she brought, terrifying because he knew their worlds could never truly collide. Elias began noticing things that were impossible. When he thought of her, she seemed to appear near him, even if he had only closed his eyes for a moment. When he spoke of the stars, she would point to constellations he had never seen, whispering names that rolled like music across the edges of his mind. "These are the paths we walk," she said one evening as they looked through the observatory telescope. Her fingers hovered over the glass, but did not touch it. "The light you see has traveled years to reach you. Time for you is not the same as for me." Elias traced the glowing lines of the stars with his fingers. "I wish I could follow you to your world, to your time." "You can," she said softly, almost laughing, though there was no sound. "Not yet, but soon. Love does not belong only to your world. It travels." He turned to her, desperate. "But you're not human. We can never. How can us even exist?" Lyra's glow intensified, bathing him in a gentle radiance. "Human, alien, what matters is the heart. I am not bound by the rules of your kind. Nor are you bound by mine. Not truly. Across the stars, we can meet. Across the stars, we can be together. Elias felt a warmth bloom inside him, a fire that no words could contain. He wanted to reach for her, to hold her, but each time he tried, she shimmered, just out of reach. "Why do you linger here?" he asked finally, his voice thick with longing. "Why come to a world where we cannot be like others?" "Because love finds a way," Lyra said. Her luminescence softened into the shape of a human smile, fragile but full of meaning. "Because I have watched you for lifetimes, across suns and galaxies. And because even when our worlds do not align, hearts can still meet." Elias felt tears sting his eyes. "I never imagined loving anyone like this. But I do. I love you, Lyra." She reached out again, almost touching him. "And I love you, Elias. Across the stars, across realities, I have always loved you. You're the reason I came. You're the reason I exist here now." For the first time, they allowed themselves to exist in the moment, in the space where human and alien blurred. And for the first time, Elias realized that love could exist beyond the limits of flesh, beyond the limits of biology, beyond the limits of understanding. That night, he lay in the observatory, staring at the stars, feeling her presence wrap around him. And he knew one truth. He would follow her anywhere, across any distance, through any impossibility, because love like theirs did not care for borders, celestial or human. Yet, in the depth of his heart, a shadow lingered. To truly be together, he would have to leave Earth. To truly follow Lyra, he would have to leave behind everything he knew. And he knew, deep down, that the choice was inevitable. The day Elias decided to leave Earth was the day the sky itself seemed to mourn. He stood at the edge of the launch platform, the hum of engines beneath him, the stars stretching endlessly above. Lyra hovered nearby, a faint glow in the pre-dawn haze, her form more solid than ever. "You don't have to do this," she said softly, though the warmth in her tone betrayed her hope. "You could stay. Your world, it will always need you." Elias shook his head, feeling the weight of the choice, yet unable to deny the pull of his heart. "I can't stay. Not when I've found you, not when I've known what it means to love something beyond everything I thought was possible." Lyra's glow brightened, and she extended what passed for hands. "Then take my light with you. Across the stars, I will guide you. Across the void, I will wait." The engines roared. The ground trembled. And yet, for Elias, all he could feel was the magnetic pull of her presence, anchoring him to something greater than himself. As the ship lifted off, breaking the atmosphere, Elias pressed his hand to the glass, and for a fleeting moment, he saw Lyra's form mirrored in the stars, as if the universe itself had opened to welcome them. Weeks passed in the cold silence of space. The stars were beautiful, but the void was lonely. Yet every time Elias thought of giving up, of questioning the impossibility of it all, Lyra's presence would shimmer beside him, sometimes in the corner of his vision, sometimes in the whispers of his mind, always just beyond touch, yet always felt. "You're afraid," Lyra said one day, her voice threading through the metal and circuitry of the ship. "Of the unknown. Of leaving behind your world. Of the distance between us." Elias ran his fingers along the console, unsure how to answer. "I'm afraid of losing you. Of finding that maybe you're just a dream I can't hold." Lyra's light pulsed, soft and steady. "I am not a dream. I am as real as the stars themselves. And your love is what brings me closer to you, even across the void." He closed his eyes and allowed himself to feel it, the warmth, the glow, the impossible connection that defied the rules of time, space, and biology. Then, one day, the darkness of space began to shimmer. A ripple of light spread across the void, unlike any star he had ever seen. Lyra's voice came through, not in his mind, but all around him, a symphony of sound and light. "We are here," she whispered. "Our worlds converge." Elias's heart raced. Through the viewport, He saw a planet glowing with silver and gold light, oceans of liquid crystal reflecting the stars. Cities shimmered like constellations, structures that defied gravity, and in the sky above, strange auroras danced with impossible colors. "We're close," Lyra said, her voice vibrating through him. "Soon, you will see my world. Soon, you will see where love has always existed, beyond the bounds of your human understanding." Tears filled his eyes. I'm ready." And in that moment, as the ship descended toward the luminous planet, Elias felt something extraordinary. That love, true, impossible love, was not limited by species, by planets, or even by the stars themselves. For the first time in his life, he believed in a universe that could bend for love. The ship's landing was smoother than Elias could have imagined. The ground beneath him felt alive, humming with energy that he could sense through the soles of his boots. The air was thick, not with oxygen alone, but with something more, a resonance, a pulse, a presence that made his heart beat in rhythm with the planet itself. Lyra materialized beside him, her form radiant, almost crystalline. "Welcome," she said, though her voice held more awe than a mere greeting. "This is my world. This is where I have lived, beyond your understanding, waiting for you to join me." Elias looked around. Towering structures spiraled into the sky, shifting as though made of liquid metal and light. Plants glowed softly, their leaves singing faint melodies that reverberated through the air. Rivers of translucent liquid reflected stars that didn't exist in his sky. Everything was alive, and yet alien, beautiful in ways that defied his mind's attempt to comprehend. "It's unbelievable," he whispered. "I don't even know where to start." "You start," Lyra said gently, "by seeing, by feeling, by letting go of what you think you know." For days, Elias explored. He learned to move along streets that seemed to float, to understand the living architecture, to feel the harmony of the planet. Everywhere he went, Lyra was near, guiding, showing, teaching. He saw creatures that defied earthly biology, yet all carried an elegance and intelligence that made him reconsider what life could be. But even in this wonder, a pang of doubt lingered. "Lyra," he said one evening as they hovered above a crystalline ocean, "I still feel out of place. I'm human. I don't belong here." Lyra's light softened, wrapping around him like a protective veil. "Belonging is not about form, Elias. It is about heart. You have followed me across the stars. You have chosen love over everything you've known. That is what makes you belong." He gazed into her shimmering eyes, if they could be called eyes, and saw the depth of a civilization that had lived far longer than humanity, a wisdom shaped by countless generations. Yet, she loved him with a focus and intensity that no human had ever given him. "Being here," he said slowly, "makes me realize love is more than I ever imagined. It isn't just between people like me. It's a force that can cross stars, planets, even forms of life." Lyra's glow brightened, surrounding him completely.
"Exactly.
"And that is why I have waited. That is why I sought you. Across lifetimes, across galaxies, love brought you to me. And now, here, we can exist, not as human and alien, but as two beings joined across the cosmos." Elias smiled, a smile filled with wonder, relief, and love so deep it almost hurt. "I want to learn everything. Your world, your ways. I want to be part of it. Part of you." Lyra's form shimmered, touching his cheek in a gesture that transcended physicality. "And you are. Already. You are part of me, and I part of you. Across the stars. Nothing can undo that. Here, we will build something beyond what either of us could imagine alone." As night fell on the luminous world, Elias looked at the twin moons rising over the glowing cities. He felt a serenity he had never known. He had crossed impossible distances, defied reason, and followed a love that was never meant to be constrained by human limitations. And for the first time, he realized he had truly come home. Life on Lyra's world was wondrous, but it was not without challenges. Elias quickly realized that surviving here required more than awe and wonder. It demanded adaptation, understanding, and patience. The beings of Lyra's civilization were intelligent and curious, but they were not like humans. Their perception of time, emotion, and communication was layered and intricate. A simple gesture could be misread. A single word could carry meanings Elias could not grasp. During his first gathering in a central city, he struggled to follow the conversation. Words became colors and sounds. Sounds became patterns he could barely track. A senior elder, tall and glowing with an inner light, approached him. "You are human," the elder said, in a tone that resonated inside his chest. "You do not belong here naturally. Yet you walk among us. Why?" Elias swallowed. "I came for love. I came to be with Lyra." The elder's glow dimmed slightly, a sign Elias learned meant contemplation. Love alone does not make one fit the rhythm of this world. You will need to learn, to attune, to become part of our harmony without losing yourself. Only then will you truly belong. Lyra stayed close, her hand brushing his shoulder. "Do not fear. Every step you take here, you take with me. You are learning what your heart already knows." Days turned into weeks, and Elias practiced tirelessly. He learned to sense the subtle pulses of energy that flowed through the streets, to interpret the light language the aliens used for their most intimate communication, and to move in rhythm with the living architecture of the cities. Yet, there were moments of despair. Sometimes he felt lost, too human for this world, too alien for his own. And at night, when he stared at the glowing moons, he wondered if love alone was enough to bridge the divide between worlds. Lyra found him on one such night, sitting at the edge of a crystalline cliff overlooking a luminous ocean. Her glow reflected in the waters. "You doubt yourself," she said softly. I try," he admitted, "but sometimes I feel I will never truly belong. I will never be like your people. I will always be human." Lyra knelt beside him, her light wrapping around him like a gentle embrace. "And that is why you are extraordinary. You are not them. You are you. And I love you because of that, because across the stars, through the impossible, your heart chose me. That is what matters. That is what makes you worthy of this world." Her words penetrated him in a way nothing else could. The weight of doubt lifted, replaced by a fierce determination to persist. Then, the trials became more than personal. A storm unlike anything on Earth approached, a wave of energy that pulsed with destructive force. Lyra explained it was a natural phenomenon of her planet, a dangerous event that tested even her people's abilities to endure. "We must go," she said urgently. "If we survive this, you will see what it truly means to exist here. But it will test more than your body, it will test your heart." Elias gripped her hand, feeling a surge of courage. "If it tests our love, then I will face it. I will not let anything come between us." Lyra's glow brightened, her form almost blinding in its intensity. "Then come. Across storms, across worlds, across stars, we face it together." And together, they stepped into the roaring energy, hearts entwined, ready to confront whatever the universe could throw at them. For love, he realized, was not only the path that brought him across the stars, it was the shield that would guide him through them. The storm hit with a force Elias had never imagined. The air shimmered with electric hues, waves of energy crashing across the crystalline landscape. Structures bent and swayed, glowing flora shimmered like liquid fire, and the sky erupted in colors that no human mind could fully comprehend. Elias clutched Lyra's hand, feeling her energy flow into him, steadying him, guiding him.
"We can do this," she said.
"Trust me. Trust yourself. Trust us." Every instinct told him to run, to hide, to surrender, but he couldn't. Not when she was beside him. Not when love had brought him across impossible distances. They moved together, guided by her light and his determination. The storm roared around them, but Elias began to feel a strange harmony. The pulses of energy that had once seemed chaotic now resonated with him. He realized that this world, this universe, responded not only to Lyra but to the bond they shared. Their love became a shield, a force that harmonized with the energy around them. Hours, or maybe lifetimes, passed, and slowly, the storm began to dissipate. The colors faded, the winds calmed, and the crystalline world shimmered peacefully once more. Elias sank to his knees, exhausted but exhilarated, and looked at Lyra. We survived," he whispered, tears streaming down his face. Lyra's glow softened, forming a shape he recognized, a human-like embrace. "Yes," she said, "because love is stronger than fear, stronger than distance, stronger than worlds apart. You have passed the trial, Elias. Not because you are human, but because you chose to love." Elias took a deep breath, looking around the transformed landscape. Everything seemed more vibrant, alive, and in harmony. For the first time, he felt truly part of this world, not because he had adapted perfectly, but because his heart had found its rhythm with Lyra's. "I want to stay," he said finally. "Not just with you, but here fully, completely. I don't care that I'm human. I belong with you." Lyra's light enveloped him completely, warm and bright.
"Then stay."
"Across stars, across lifetimes, we are together. And together, we can create a life beyond boundaries, beyond species, beyond imagination." They walked hand in hand through the glowing cities, through forests of crystal light and rivers of liquid starlight, knowing that nothing could sever the bond they had forged. Elias began to understand that love, true, unwavering love, was not limited to biology, not constrained by planets, and not hindered by time. Over time, Elias became part of the world, not by becoming alien, but by being human in a way that mattered, by loving without limits, by trusting without fear, by choosing the impossible. Lyra's people came to accept him, not because he was like them, but because he embodied the extraordinary truth. Love could bridge any divide. And as the twin moons rose over the luminous horizon, Elias knew that he had found something rare, something eternal, a love that transcended stars, a love that had no beginning and no end, a love that existed in the infinite spaces between human and alien, between worlds, between hearts. He looked at Lyra, and for a moment, the universe itself seemed to hold its breath. "I love you," he said simply, words that carried the weight of everything they had endured. "And I love you," Lyra replied, her light blending with his, their forms intertwining in a radiance that defied comprehension. "Across the stars, we are one." And in that glow, Elias understood the ultimate truth. Sometimes, the impossible love, the love that defies reason, species, and worlds, is the only love that truly matters. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter that night, as if acknowledging a bond that had traveled across the universe, across lifetimes, and had finally, at last, found home.